Kris, sir, thank you so much for making the time today, bright and early on a Texan morning. Here we are for a nice chat to learn a little bit more about you as a person, as a creator, and as an entrepreneur, and what got you into this realm over the last couple of years. So firstly, thanks so much for taking the time.
Oh, thanks for having me, Garvin. I can't wait to talk to you guys.
Amazing, fantastic stuff. So give us the background. I mean, I say jump in, where did you grow up? I'm not to presume with my Texan intro, but give us what life was like growing up. What were you into? What were your interests? And kind of give us the backstory, if you could.
Yeah, well, I was born and raised in Texas. I'm a true Texan. I was actually born in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. My dad was in the service, so I may not have been born in Texas, but I got here as quick as I could. I was bred in Texas anyway, so I can at least claim that. Yeah, so my life has been a life of the Western performance horse world. That's all I really know. That's what I've been into since I was a kid. My granddad worked on the big legendary 4/6s ranches out in Guthrie, Texas. And that's where I gained my love for horses and my love for the Western way of life. As things progressed along, I've done a lot of cowboying. I've done a lot of competitive team roping, and I rode broncs in high school. I'm pretty competitive, and the crypto space kind of fits into that. There's a winning strategy and there's strategy to winning. And, it's kind of the same stuff that we use in the rodeo arena. It's a lot of repetition and a lot of doing the same things over and over and over correctly. And when I got into crypto, it just kind of interested me. I like things that are a challenge, and I don't think I could have found a bigger challenge in trying to figure out crypto charts. But it's been a good trip. I've been in the space about 5 years now, so this isn't my first cycle through this stuff. I don't really know how I got into it. I think it was way back in the day, just reading up on this thing called Bitcoin, and one thing ran into another. And then I started learning about halvings and got burned in buying after halvings. And, it's just kind of been a journey, but it's been a really exciting journey. And I've learned so much, and I really like to just take what's been given so freely to me and give it away to somebody else.
Yeah, fantastic. Really, really good to hear. Talk to me more about, I love the phrase, the Western way of life in 2026. Is that still alive, very much and vibrant? Do you feel has it grown? Is it declining? Give us a sense of what that kind of community ecosystem universe feels like.
Yeah, you always hear that it's, the cowboy and is kind of the last of a dying breed. And, I agree with that to an extent. It's really heartbreaking to see the amount of ranches the amount of generational ranches that have just been destroyed or taken away because of politics or whatever. But the horse industry is growing. It's probably as big as it's ever been in its history right now. We talk about bull markets in traditional stocks and commodities and crypto, but horses and cattle have been in a bull market too. Horses are bringing outrageous amounts of money, back. And now I'm going to sound old and I'm going to date myself, but 10 or 15 years ago, a good using horse would cost you $5,000 to $10,000, and you really can't pick one up for under about $25,000 or $30,000 now. That is worth its salt. So, it's a growing industry. I think Yellowstone had a lot to do with that. I think it really opened up a whole new world to the show horse world that a lot of people aren't familiar with. But the industry's growing, and it's fun to see. And we've been able to capitalize on some of that, of buying and selling a few horses. That's kind of what I do on the side, along with my farrier practice. And my farrier practice, I shoe horses. That's my job. That's what I do full time. It's done really well because of it. But it's just like the crypto and anything else. I kind of position myself. I want to be the best at what I do.
Yeah.
And I think God expects that of us as well. So I just take everything wholeheartedly and really try to do the absolute best I can with whatever I've got in front of me.
I love it, Kris. Fascinating. I mean, coming from an Irish background, obviously the whole horse industry, the equine industry, and equestrian industry rather in general is mammoth. The buying and selling of horses, the breeding of horses, I find just immensely fascinating. Does the kind of performance Western lifestyle and let's say horsing equestrian community, does that interlink in ways with the, let's say, the traditional racing community, the more Kentucky based, in terms of US, or are they very distinct worlds, would you say?
Yeah, they're very distinct disciplines. There's so many variations of each discipline. It's really hard to wrap your head around. The racehorses, they do their own thing, and then you've got like the big eventers, the hunter jumpers, the guys that go out and do the big 3-day steeplechase courses and things like that. That's their own discipline. The Western discipline is the show horse discipline is its own thing, and then you've got just like the cowboy, that uses that horse day to day as a tool to complete his job.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of variation, and then you've got the rodeo world. That's a whole other genre in itself.
Really? Wow.
So it's a fascinating thing that the horses are so versatile, and that God created them to do so many things for our enjoyment. That it's a fun place to be.
Yeah,
I really enjoy my horses. I really love what I do. I'm super blessed, and I just thank God every day.
Incredible animals, and the community around it, I guess, as well, is something that you really, from your multi-generational, from your grandfather downwards. In terms of the silly question, just to shine a light on, when you say performance, the performance kind of horse world, as opposed to rodeo, what specifically do we mean for anyone who may not be familiar with?
Yeah, so rodeo and show horses, it's a performance horse world. We're asking them to do things above and beyond their normal way of life. So it's turning a cow a certain way, or it's running to a cow and achieving, roping it, or doing everything in time. But what people don't realize is these horses are finely tuned athletes, just like your soccer players or your football players, your professional baseball players. I mean, our horses get routine injections every 6 to 12 months just to make sure that it's preventative, that they don't hurt and they're healthy and they feel good. That's the biggest thing, is those horses, they give us everything and they never ask us for anything in return. So it's our job as a steward of the horse to make sure that they're taken care of and can compete at the absolute top of their ability.
Yeah, totally. And I guess I love your depth of thought around what you do. So many of us, we often don't really necessarily think with a huge amount of depth, for want of a better word, around our actual day-to-day activities. When it comes to, I love what you touched on earlier around like the fact that you essentially come from an athletic background. You're still part of that whole world, obviously alongside your farrier business. Talk to us around how you feel that translates into the discipline that's required, the depth of study, all that sort of stuff in your kind of day-to-day crypto life.
Right. So I'm going to relate it to my horseshoeing practice or my farrier practice, because I think it's into, I've achieved world titles in the team roping on a breed level, which is a pretty interesting feat. I've got a mare sitting in the pasture that has beat every other mare in the country, to put it in a better terms. And you do that with discipline. And there's a lot of discipline in trading. There's a lot of discipline in investing. And I had a mentor that I grew up with that always used to tell me in the rope and pin, you want to take the shots that you can make. And I've used that line in my trading more than I have everything, because there's so many chances you can take in a trade. And yeah, you can take that chance, but what's your probability of being successful? And so I took that discipline that I've learned of, taking those high percentage shots, and I've moved that into crypto. And that's what I'm trying to teach, is there's a way and there's a strategy through Fibonacci's and moving averages and some other things that if you use these practices day in and day out and use them consistently and use them in the correct way, at the end of it, you start getting consistent on your trading. And then there's small wins, and then those small wins turn into big wins. And it's the same way in the rope and pin. You may not be the fastest today, but if you practice that way, speed comes with repetition. And before you know it, where you're at, and just like in your trading, before you know it, where you're in a place where you're roping or you're trading where there used to be a lot of doubt, now you're confident in that position because that's what you've practiced toward with consistency rather than, oh, let's make the big shot right now. If that makes sense. Because a lot of these rope-ins are on an average. They're on a 4-head average. And if you miss one, you're out. And the fastest on 4 head wins the rope-in. It's the same way with trading. You know, you may get one big win, but how can you make those wins consistently where you're gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining? That's where I go with all of it.
It's a fascinating line. It's a great takeaway. Remind us the exact line again from your mentor.
Make the shots you know you can make.
Make the shots you know you can make. Absolutely fantastic. So I guess, you know, through these years of discipline, repetition, skill development, obviously, you know, in both your more sporting hobby side of your life and then also in your day-to-day farrier career, you know, you're constantly developing skills. Obviously, that's something that you very clearly, we don't even need to ask you about that. You very clearly have brought it into your trading, into your crypto content. I mean, I've had the fortune of observing your content over the last 3-4 months as part of our accelerator and watching your improvements, watching your growth. Take us back rather to, you know, if we were to step away from what we're talking about here, you're in such a distinct world from the stereotypical kind of crypto creator. Flash cars, perhaps, you know, is what maybe might stereotypically come to mind for some people, young guys, meme coins, like, you know, that whole world. How did you actually get to a place where you said, you know what, I'm going to actually take a camera out here and start sharing my knowledge? What propelled you to that point?
Yeah. So I've been active in the crypto school since its inception. I think Tyler told me I was his first sign up back when he started the new group. But I followed Tyler back from the old days. Been around Tyler a long time. And you know, I had some understanding of TA, and when I got into school, I realized how many people don't. And how many people just don't understand basic chart structure. They don't understand moving averages. But they want to learn.
Yeah.
And so this grew into, I posted charts in the crypto school for a while, but they're not very descriptive. And sometimes my charts are kind of hard to read. And so I started typing descriptions. Well, I have a TV background. I worked in TV for a long time. And I thought, you know what? I could probably just do a video. And I started doing videos on this and everybody liked them. And it was kind of a suggestion of, hey, maybe you ought to throw these on YouTube. And, you know, then the character came out. Tyler really saw something with the character that I'm unique from everybody else.
Definitely.
And then we just started growing it. And I can't tell you how blown away I am by the growth in such a small amount of time. Tyler and his group have been absolutely amazing in building this and guiding me and channeling me in the right direction to make this something a little more special.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've got the authenticity for added context, and the Tyler that Kris is referring to is Tyler Hill, the founder of Fluence alongside Connor Kenny, and you know, through the tutelage and mentorship essentially of what the guys have both learned over the years, Tyler has taken the lead in terms of, you know, converting yourself, Kris, from that like member of the crypto school into now, you know, fully fledged creator essentially, which, you know, the trajectory has been so rapid. Remind us, when did you actually post your first video?
My first video posted about, we started this, it's February now. It's been about 4 or 5 months ago. I want to say it was right around the 1st of October, because I remember one of my first videos was the flash crash on October 10th. So that's about how long it's been around.
Fantastic. And in terms of subscriber count now, as we are, what are we, 17th of September or February rather?
Yeah, it's almost 1,300 this morning.
Absolutely brilliant. So, you know, rapid growth over such a short period of time. I think there's no doubt about it. You know, your unique character and it's just your genuine rawness, authenticity infuses through everything that you do. I think there's also like a true fascination in observing someone who's sharing and they're also living and breathing a full unique career. I mean, you're a tradesman, you're a sportsman, you're essentially a rancher in a way. You've got so much going on, and then you also make time for this. So I think that as well for me is an inspirational part of your story, insofar as, like, you know, you're taking the time to make content, but at the same time you're of course personally trading, and at the same time you're running your actual business and your life. So I think that gives a lot of folks inspo in terms of understanding that this is something that you can do. I don't necessarily even mean being a creator, but having the setting aside that time to make sure that you're building your portfolio per se.
Right.
In terms of what have you found most difficult over the last 6 months as you've leaned into this? What has been the most challenging aspect of essentially becoming a creator?
The most, it's funny, we're gonna talk about this in a couple of different parts. The toughest thing about being creator is I really wanted to create something that had some honesty and integrity. There's so many things out there that just tell you, and you've heard it over the last few weeks, especially, this is the bottom. This is the bottom. We're going to the moon. This is the bottom. Keep buying. And sorry. And there's just not a lot of authenticity out there. You see a guy in a flashy car. You see a guy telling you this. You see a guy telling you that. I just want to tell you what I see and read the charts. And what's challenging is people don't like bearish videos. And we've been in a downtrend for the past 4 months.
Yeah.
But I've stuck to my guns. I've just laid out what's there. I try to tell you with my honest opinion what I think's happening. And if it doesn't suit what you think, then it's fine. And I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. But I just try to keep some integrity in this. When you come back, you're going to see the same thing. It's just where the charts are going, what I think, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I think there's value in that.
Absolutely. No, for sure. And, in terms of your cadence now, remind us, how many times are you posting a week typically? How do you blend it in actually to your day-to-day life? That's
so the walk around videos have been really nice, and people have liked them because it's just a candid what I'm doing during the day. And so I post a couple of those during the day. I bought a little gimbal that I walk around with. I kind of give you a basic market structure, or what I'm thinking about, what the news of the day is. And then in the evenings when I come in, I throw up a quick Bitcoin video. I'm looking at the charts. I'm updating my charts anyway in the evening. So I just update them, throw something on YouTube, and it really doesn't take but a few hours out of my day. And it's a few hours that I was going to look at charts anyway. So why not share what I'm seeing?
100%. Yeah. Plus the need to recommunicate it always will focus the mind. So you're essentially,
yeah, it's made my trading so much better to have to explain what I see. And now when I come back and look at my charts, it's like, oh, I talked about this and here it is.
Amazing. Fantastic. No, excellent stuff. And I guess, as things continue to grow, and I'm excited for us to, chat in 12 months and see where the sub count is, would you ever have, eyes on potentially this being your full time? Although I appreciate your actual, shall we say, your quote day job is something that you do thoroughly enjoy. But
well, you can see behind me my sign. I do build custom bits and spurs in the shop on bad days. I'm nearing 50 years old. I'll be 50 this year, and I've shoot horses for about 30 years, and it's extremely hard on your body, and things are breaking down. I'm slowing down. So what I'm really looking for is an avenue to supplement that. The spurs help, but with that, if I'm working on these videos, I'm also available in the shop to do more and keep up with things. So that's kind of the transition that I'm heading, is to be able to do my crypto stuff and just work in my spur shop, start slowing down, enjoying life a little more.
Amazing. Well, first, Kris, you shaved, or you added rather, 10 years to what I thought your age was. You're looking great for 50, brother. And so tip of the hat, good Texan, healthy lifestyle, clearly, which is serving you well, sir. And love to hear the goals or the transition point. I guess, to kind of round out, as we now kind of have a sense of everything that got you to this place, what you're currently doing, your farrier work, your performance work, what I guess, simply speaking, most excites you about the next couple of years ahead in terms of kind of your creatorship or your work as a YouTuber?
I'm going to get a little spiritual here because I'm very deep in my faith, and I believe Jesus died on our cross for our sins, that we can have everlasting life. And I hope somehow to use all of this that he's given me for his glory. Whether it's a small line at the end of a video, or if somebody doesn't know Jesus, maybe I have an opportunity to teach them through this. And ultimately, that's my goal with this stuff. It's all for him. It's not, none of it's for me. I'm just here for a while.
Absolutely fantastic, Kris. No, you're making the best of every day. Well, a bite-sized chat, but I know we're going to circle back to it in the months ahead. I know your trajectory is going to continue rapidly. There's no doubt about that. I mean, 1,300 subs in essentially less than 6 months is phenomenal. The fact that you have such a recognizable personal brand already after such a short period of time is immense. And yeah, for sure, I know, having had, as I said, the opportunity and the fortune to observe you over the last few months and your growth, your activity, your action, your intention, I know that, you know, the months and years ahead will be epic in terms of where things go for you. So yeah, super grateful for you taking the time, and pumped to see where everything goes.
All right. Thanks, Garvin. I'm just having fun. Glad to be a part of it.